Hello everybody, and today I'm going to be talking about possibly how you can get yourself an active Atlantic. Now, I know it's very hard to get an active Atlantic, and as you can see, look at the Eastern Pacific in the server. Now, you see all those lows? Well, we're going to be talking about all these lows. So as you can see, there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm pretty sure there's 5 systems in the Eastern Pacific. And then we have 1 in the Atlantic. Now, most of the systems are coming from the Eastern Pacific, which means everywhere else around is going to have a more inactive moment. Well, I'm going to be talking about the lows. And this is actually a good time to show what's going on. So you see how all the lows are spawned into the Atlantic, now names? As you see, there are 7th low. And this is our maximum lows that you can have in a season. As you see, it died though. Maximum is 7 lows. And here's a tactic how you guys can get yourself an active any season around. And it's quite simple. All you need to do is just go into a game, block a player, and then leave the game, like if it's not a new server. And then basically what you want to do is just kind of zoom out, like it's right now, you see on the screen. Basically you want to wait and see how many lows start spawning worldwide. If all the lows start spawning more in other basins, not the Atlantic, it's looking like the Atlantic's not going to be that active. So what you can do is just do the same tactic to leave the game and rejoin. And if you get a new server, then do it again. If the Atlantic is active, you could have an active start. Now, I like to keep in mind this is not 100% sure that the Atlantic is going to be active. This is just a start, which can possibly get you an active season for the far run. Because, better the boosts, the better possibilities. Obviously, this Atlantic season has not gotten an active start. But the Eastern Pacific got a pretty active moment since all the lows started spawning in the Eastern Pacific. So, we have lows that go up to 7. Each one of them are labeled 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. That's just how I'm doing it. If the first low spawns in any season, and then dies, it starts to, again, the first low now gets a new spot it's going to pick. As you can see, the new low just spawned right there. And it picks that spot. And, if most of the storms aren't dying, this is really just going to look like the seasons are not going to be that active. Besides whatever the season that's right now that's active. So as you can see, since the Eastern Pacific has gotten so many systems at once, which you don't see every day, it's actually quite a rare season too, man. Basically, you can see here we have 10 names. My God, what the frick is going on, man? Why is it so active? So basically, if a load dies quicker, this makes it so then it'll spawn in a different spot. But obviously, this case, they're not. They're just staying in a spot, and Emma, whatever it's saying, is kind of going back and forth. What the heck? So basically, if a load dies, this gives it an opportunity for them to spawn in a different spot. Obviously, say all these systems start dying, well, that means all these systems start spawning in different spots. If obviously they start spawning in the Eastern Pacific again, well, great, we're going to have more systems in the Eastern Pacific and more names. So, as you see, the Atlantic is obviously it's in September. Oh man, it's going to be active. No, it's not, because all the systems are being used. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 names worldwide. This is rare. You never see 7 names once worldwide. I don't honestly know if I've seen any. So, what is Cristobal doing? My goodness. So basically, this right here is the tactic how to get yourself an active season. It just depends on how the lows spawn. Obviously, the lows might spawn a little bit quicker during August. I think August is where most lows start spawning, where you can see 7 a lot of times. And I think on the 2nd or the 3rd for the southern season, when all the lows will spawn. So this is your little tactic here on how you can get an active season for whatever basin. And honestly, I'd like to start this video because this really just shows what I'm talking about. So you can see how all the lows are, were spawning in the Eastern Pacific that became names eventually. Well, as you can see, they're not dying, and you can see none other basins are getting really any activity because there's only 7 lows at once. If all the systems start dying, then the Atlantic could possibly get more lows or other seasons, and they get names. So yeah, I hope you guys do enjoy this video. You can try out this for yourself to possibly get yourself an active season. So yeah, I'm just going to go through it once again, how you do it. Basically, you want to join a server. a new server. Watch the season. If lows start spawning like it was doing in the Eastern Pacific, but in Atlantic or whatever season you want, that's meaning for possible good signs for the start. Honestly, if the systems are dying quickly, it's actually a good thing if you are wanting to go through the list quicker. Meaning then more lows can start forming and possibly give the Atlantic more of a chance to have more names. So this is basically how you can get yourself an active start and then could possibly be an active far run. So I hope you guys do enjoy this. There was kind of like a similar tactic where like if the Western Pacific is getting all the lows, the Atlantic's not going to be active. But I think this was what we were looking at, but we just didn't see it. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and you guys can try this out for yourself and see how it works.